Hey everybody, so we're here at the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum. We're going to do a live feed. Tried doing this one once before of the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum. And I'll take you through, show you some of the different things around here. And have a good time. Hopefully you guys come and visit. This is in Ronks, Pennsylvania. It's right across the street from the Strasburg Railroad. So enjoy. I'm going to start going through some of this stuff and I'll take you through and show you some of the stuff. And I'm using my gimbal for the first time on this. Playing with a little bit here, guys. There we go. So the first engine here is a 7002. I'll tell you a little bit more about this one. But steam locomotives are characterized by their wheel arrangements. This is a 442 wheel arrangement. She's an Atlantic. 7002, she used to be running up until the early 90s up in over at Strasburg. But when they brought out some of the new FRA regulations for boiler inspections, she was put in a stack display and sent over here to the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum, and she's been on display ever since that time. This next one is a Heisler locomotive number 111. She actually worked at the Bethlehem Steel Company. This is the big Pennsylvania Power Light locomotive. There's two sides to this railroad museum. We'll do this side and then we'll go on the other and we'll go outside too. It's a little Reading 060 switcher. I'm trying to use the gimbal. Still learning with it, Jay. Jay, just tell me if it starts looking better or worse. Besides that. It just keeps slipping on me. There we go. How does that look? For everybody that's just tuning in, still trying to get used to this machine, this piece of equipment, so just bear with me a little bit. Still got to see the engines. Again, this is the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum. It's in Ronks, Pennsylvania. It's right across the street from the Strasburg Railroad. If I can pan it that way for you, I will show you. This is looking out the windows. That's Strasburg Railroad over there. You can get train rides on actual steam locomotives over in that shop over there. And I'll slowly bring it back this way and try and let you get used to these trains, or check out these trains. This museum has one of the largest collections of Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives in the States. and they're doing what they can to preserve it. They're going to be building a roundhouse out in the back of the of this facility, and there's 5 locomotives. They're actually outside. We'll show that later in the video, and they're going to be placing those steam locomotives in there to keep them out of the weather and make them look nice. Yeah, Jay, it's a nice place. They got a huge collection out here. This locomotive is one of my favorites here in the collection. She's a 460, she's a 10-wheeler, and she's a really big 10-wheeler. 5741. Let you check that baby out. On the other side, you can see her too. Get a nice shot of that one. That's an E89 5901 Pennsylvania Railroad. They take really good care of this stuff. Everything's run by volunteer here. So they rely on your donations when you come in here to keep everything up and running. They do have some people in here today. And there are some locomotives that you are allowed to climb up onto and go inside, and I'll show you some of them once we get on the other side. Big Pennsylvania GP9. They've got it all opened up so you can see the inside of the engines. And I'm going to swing it back this way. This is a little Switcher 040 Pennsylvania locomotive. Number 94. He said one of the largest collections of Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives and equipment. Right now, a lot of these locomotives have just have a paint on the outside of them for cosmetic restoration. The last time I was in here, this GP30 wasn't opened up. We'll see she's opened up and let people go inside of it once we get on the other side of it. Oh yeah. I'll get back to that once I show you this locomotive. Now we saw this one on the other side, the 7002. She used to run at Strasburg Railroad. The number is significant. 7002 was noted as one of the fastest locomotives. She was collected around 115 miles an hour on straight land. She was supposed to go to the World Fair in New York City, but they ended up scrapping her. So this locomotive here actually is not the original 7002. What they did is they picked E2 class locomotive, had the same wheel arrangement, and fixed her up like the real 7002 and put her at the World Fair. So give a good look. Like I said, she was running up until the early 90s and later 80s at the Strasburg Railroad. She was always owned by the state, and now she's on permanent display inside the museum. And we're going to go back over by that GP30. When I get finished with this video, down in the comments, I'll leave some more things open about the those special locomotives. Anybody coming on, again, we're at the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum, just doing a walk around, showing people what they have here. If you want to share this video, go ahead, share this video, watch it, like it, enjoy it. Yeah, she used to be a Pennsylvania Railroad. They just kept her in this color, but yeah, one of the brightest colored pieces in here. And they don't have her opened up today. Jay, these everything in here is just static display. Nothing runs. They do have their own switcher out the back, which will be later in the video if anybody wants to stick around. They do have their own switcher that they move around, and they also use Strasberg's engines to help them move things around in this museum. We're going to get into some of their electromotive locomotives here. They don't have this one open either. This one was open on either side. If you go up into the cab, you can kind of see the one set of controls right there. Well, there's actually another set of controls on the other side of that engine. So no matter which engine, where this engine was going, your controls are facing the way you're riding. And right behind there's a GG1. I'm going to show you that GG1 later on because there's actually something significant about that one too to tell a story about when we come back down the other way. Right now I'm going to kick it back over to the other steam engines in front of 7002. So this next locomotive that we're going to be coming on to right here, the John Bull. This is a replica of the John Bull. This was actually at Steamtown National Historic Site a couple years ago. They brought her up and put her on static display while she was there. And Sparky, you said you're coming here on July 14th. Make sure you get a chance to check this out. Strasberg is across the street, and about a half a mile down the street is also the National Toy Train Museum as well. So make sure you check that out. And there's also a train place called the Choo Choo Barn, which has a pretty large static display. And there's a lot of different restaurants around here to check out too. Some workers working in here. So this is 1223. This is another locomotive that ran with 7002 over at Strasburg Railroad through their later 80s, early 90s. Again, due to the new FRA regulations, they didn't meet the regulations to have her refurbed, so she was brought over here. Her wheel and range is a 440 American type locomotive. So one of the things significant about this locomotive is she was used in the movie Hello Dolly in the 70s. How you doing, guys? That's actually a cool significance with this locomotive. And if I can pan down here, you can see what she's painted like when she was in the movie Hello Dolly. For the movie. Jay, how's the gimbal looking? Is this still looking good? They have a couple of older passenger cars here. Again, they do a really good job of the stuff that they have to refurb it and keep it looking the way it's supposed to. This is an old Reading motor car. If you guys visit Steamtown, sitting over on their backside, they've got 3 or 4 Huey Lackawanna motor cars. This is what they look like, but only this is the Reading's version. Yeah, Sparky JP is one of the ones that's helped me out with my live feeds. He's been doing it for a while, and he's been helping me and my buddy Bernie with our pages quite a bit. Good guy, good friend, good person to get a hold of. You've seen a lot of his stuff. I haven't checked if they have public Wi-Fi or not. So before I talk to you about this locomotive here, check this out to the right. This is an old funeral carrier. Well, not this one. That was back there. And then I'll pan to the right here. This is an old funeral carrier. It's a little freaky inside the building, but they pretty much have everything from the era here and set up from the eras. So let me bring you back to this locomotive. This locomotive just came out of the shop from a cosmetic restoration. This is another Atlantic type like was down the other end, so it's a 442. Much more modern than the other one. She's an E6 X class. She's number 460. So this steam locomotive has a lot of history. She is known as the Lindbergh engine. So the story behind this is she was one of the other ones that made one of the land speed records, undocumented. Lindbergh, when he made his transatlantic flight across the ocean, he had a movie and wanted to document his movie. Well, they wanted to race an airplane and a train. So they started out. The airplane, of course, got the movie into New York City quicker than the train did. However, this train had its own car on it that had a black room on it, so they were able to produce, edit, and create the film on the train. So actually the train beat the plane there to the movie theater. So that's a quick down and dirty. I can get it a little bit more formal for you guys if you want to, but that's why she's nicknamed the Lindbergh engine. Something else, guys, you got to see that I have to work on is my etiquette and my speaking in these movies. I do realize that, but that will come with time. So what I was told by one of the other volunteers at this one is she's eventually going to be displayed on the Roundhouse Bridge or the Turntable Bridge, and they're going to have some rollers underneath it and to keep rolling to make it look like the drivers are turning, which is going to be pretty neat. So we're going to go down the back side of the trains of this last aisle, and once we get down the back side, we'll come back and we'll do their outside stuff, and that'll close up the video feed. I know it's a little bit longer. I thank you guys for staying with me. Anybody else that comes on, you can watch it from the beginning, share it, like it, enjoy it. We're going through the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum down in Strasburg. Pennsylvania 2846. They have Pullman cars here, Pennsylvania cars, motor cars, as you can see as we've been going down this museum. They have Lehigh Valley, some Delaware and Hudson, some Pennsylvania, which, Jay, that's from up in our area, our hometown. This steam engine we just passed, you can go up inside of it, so we're gonna, when we get down to that final row, we'll go do that before we head outside, so you can actually see a little bit what a steam engine locomotive looks like. So some Northeast heritage down here. Lehigh Valley, Delaware and Hudson. And then there's an old icebox refrigerator car down here on the back end. They do have some cases with some artifacts in it. Some of the old tools of the trade. So if you guys watch this video from the beginning, there are going to be some mess ups in there as getting the equipment to work right. Yes, you should always test your equipment before you start it. I kind of started on the fly. Here's that GG1 we were going to talk about before, 4935. There's a place on New Jersey who still has one of these, but she's all painted in black. There's this one. I think there's at least 3 or 4 of these left today. And again, they got everything locked up. She's among the last of the GG ones delivered to the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Winooner shops. The crews called her 21. She was nicknamed the Blackjack. Her number is actually, why they called her 21, her numbers actually add up to 21. So that's why they call her the Blackjack. Some more passenger equipment. There's a gang car, Pennsylvania caboose. They really do have everything set up nice down here. It's nice for the family, especially after a long day of running going on the trains over Strasburg. You can take a run over here and check this out. Something for the kids to play with. They've got a cutout version of a Norfolk Southern engine. How are you, sir? You can actually go inside. There's a computer system to drive it a little bit. And they've got it closed up today too. Willamana, number 3. This locomotive is from Hawaii. How you doing, sir? So we'll go down this last aisle and then we'll go outside, check out all the locomotives that they have out there, and you'll see the 5 locomotives that they're going to be cosmetically restoring and sticking inside that little roundhouse. This is where all the Shea locomotives are at, down here in the corner. So Cass is one of the railroad museums that has a lot of these Shea type locomotives working around. And this one, the Climax, they have one down there too. This one actually works the Castaway Caboose. Castaway Caboose, they kind of dump you off in the woods for about 4 days, however much you pay for, and you camp in a caboose. That's the Shea we're all used to, style Shea we're all used to seeing. So that's the inside of the museum. I'm going to take you all out to the outside. You can see the the outside stuff they have out there. They've got a lot of locomotives out there. If you guys want to see, I'm heading, anybody that came on right now, I'm heading out toward the back, the outside. If you want to see the rest of the museum, you can start off from the beginning. I know it's a little bit longer video, but went through pretty much most of the steam locomotives that they have here in this station. Something to bring your family to. Has a lot of history, has one of the largest collections, the Pennsylvania Railroad memorabilia. There's one other steam engine I want to show you here. It's behind the John Bull. I forgot about this one before we went outside. This locomotive, the 1187. I believe from what I'm getting, she's one of the oldest locomotives still surviving in the Pennsylvania Railroad right now. She's a 280 consolidation type, but you can get up underneath it. This is what I want to show you. So we're going to look up. And see up underneath the locomotive. I've been here a few times, usually when the wife's at work and I have off, because Strasburg runs trains all week long. I come down here. I'm just doing a live feed to practice out and let people know it's down here. So we'll head outside. They do have a second floor to this, but basically all it is a crossover. So you can see from everything from above. And they do have a train display up there too. So I don't know if it's working yet or not. Boy. Kind of walking by everything we already saw to get to the outside. Yep, they have the yard open. So if you want to look down here, they kind of have everything set up like a train was pulling into a station. And this is a kid area here. There's some train displays in there. So the Pennsylvania locomotives out here, these guys are basically going to be getting a cosmetic display from their restoration, but it's only going to be mainly paint on the outside to make them look good. And they're going to be building a roundhouse down here. And these guys are going to be housed inside that roundhouse. That's a 462 Pacific Type 3750. 6755 is a 482 mount type, also known as their M1s. They are accepting donations for these locomotives to get them straightened up and for that roundhouse they're going to be building. There's a Reading Company observation. And back here, actually they have another GG1 right here painted in black. And an Amtrak AE7. Yeah, it's mainly all Pennsy stuff and things from the Northeast Pennsylvania area, or just the Pennsylvania area in general. I'm going to swing around so you can get a shot of these two engines that we just passed in between here. Again, these are two of the locomotives that are going to be cosmetically restored and put in that roundhouse, which they're collecting for now when they build it. There's a Lehigh Valley motor car. That's their turntable over there. And the outside is usually open up to the public daily as long as the museum's open and there isn't anything else going on. So Sparky, when you get up here on the 14th, it should be opened up for you. It's a $10 fee for adults. I didn't ask for it, but they do have a thing here for veterans too. This is a 282 Mikado type locomotive. No, they've got everything closed off. Down the yard, they really don't have anybody watching out here, so it's kind of a liability if anybody gets up inside of them. And then they have a 280 consolidation over here, the 7688. There's one more, there's a switcher on the other side, unless she's already in getting her paint job done, but there's 5 total steam locomotives out here. This is also the place, I don't know the exact particulars, that had that nickel plug road engine that's getting moved to another museum. These guys had it, it's actually getting moved to their location. I know Strasburg was doing tests on the wheels on the drivers a couple days ago. That's their Western Maryland switcher there. And this is coming into their back shops over here. There it is, that's the Nickel Plate Road. That engine's going to be moved to another museum, and she's going to be on static display there in the back. This is their back shop, so you really can't walk back there or get back there. And that other Pennsylvania locomotive is in the shops already getting ready to be painted up. So everybody that watched, I hope you enjoyed it. This is going to be the end of the tour. Sparky, again, when you get down here to check it out, I hope you enjoy it. You know it's here. Down the road a little bit is the National Toy Train Museum. And there's 3 smorgasbords down here. They're big buffets, but smorgasbord goes along with the Amish. There's 3 different ones down here. If you want to look on the map and check them out, they're actually very good. If you leave any one of those places hungry, it's your own fault. Dutch Wonderland is down this way. Basically a small amusement park for the kids. But there's a lot to see down here. There's also up the road, there's what they call an Amish house. You pay to go in there, and they take you through a tour of a Amish house and how they live and operate around here. And it's basically on an old farm too, so you can walk through the farm and some things you can buy. There's a lot to do down here. So when you get here, check it out. Anybody else that comes down here, take those tips. Enjoy yourselves. But as of right now, I'm K Flanagan 98. Check out my channel on Facebook or YouTube, and on Facebook I'm Kenneth Flanagan. I have my own Rail Fanners forum page, so look up Rail Fanners forums if you want to be part of that page, and check me out. Other than that, have yourself a good day, and I'm glad everybody stopped by to check it out.